John Lawrence, National Housing Party, a couple of our leaflets. I've been here since 10 AM, delivered about 200-300 of these. But I mean, talking with people in the area, and 3 different people I've never met before have said that there's been stabbing, knife point attacks at the subway at the top of the road. Now, will these lefties say anything about it? Will they say anything about crime and these people coming into our country? Probably not. But just let that be a word. When they come round, they won't say nothing about that. But I want to protect you. I want to protect you. And I want what's better for elderly people and people who live in this area. But John Lawrence, National Housing Party, there's my leaflet, our recruitment leaflet. If you've seen any of these in Seacroft, look at the party, look at our website. There's even a couple of phone numbers on there that you can phone to contact us. But yeah, so I'm in Seacroft today, 1:30. Alex Huber's got a demo on starting at 1:30. Obviously the lefties are here behind us there, so there'll be a few of them. But it's important that we let everyone know that we need to exit the 1951 Refugee Convention. Once we've done that, all these boats will stop within a couple of weeks and they won't come over. But our spineless government won't talk about it and they won't deal with these issues. But the National Housing Party, that's on our priority list, is to exit the 1951 UN Refugee Convention, which is the cause of all this hotel trouble. And I just want to say, I might be doing a speech later, but I did a speech in Leeds the other week and I was saying it's going to cost us 7 million a day in hotel bills. Well, that's out the window now. It's 10 million a day. That's just in hotel bills, which eventually comes up to over 3.5 billion a year. So every year from now on, we accept these people in, that's how much we're paying. And it's not the MPs paying it, it's the working class people like you lot who fund all this. You need to fight back against it, join the party, stand as a candidate in your local area, we'll support you. Thank you very much, John Lawrence.
Come on, Richard! Nobody sees you round here, and nobody cares about air rules. You certainly don't. Violent crimes and sexual crimes. Why don't you talk about that, Richard Burden? Go and sort air rules out first. Go and Google it up. Come on. We can't hear you. Yeah, and Richard, you obviously don't have to pay anything. We're getting a pay rise as an MP. That's the only thing you're at Parliament for. You're not bothered about anything else.
Who's the MP over there? Sorry?
Richard Burden. Bergen.
He was in Leeds last time, wasn't he?
But like I said, his area of Pear Hills, just short of 400 crimes in a month. And one local's telling us there's been 3 murders with 2 beheadings. And Richard, you won't say nothing about that, will you? You lied. It's 910 crimes in just a month in Her Hills. So why aren't you there sorting it out?
Oh, here comes one of them.
And locals are telling me that there's been knife point attacks in the subway at the top of the road. Are you going to say anything about that? Her Hills, 365 public order offences, 124 antisocial behaviour, 119 and 3 murders, and 2 of them were beheadings. So you should be sorting Her Hills out first, mate. People tell me that you don't even come round your constituency sitting safe in Parliament while Her Hills and the rest of the Leeds gets trashed. Richard, come over and talk to me. I'm a political party leader, so you should be able to discuss your concerns with me and me with you.
These hotels are full of illegals. They do not belong here. They should not be here. They need deporting, not rewarding.
Yay.
Now, before I hand you over to Alec to start the speeches, I just want to say one thing. God bless you all for coming here. God bless Emily Jones and her family. We shall never forget her or the evil that did that to her and her government failures that are behind this. Yeah, as you can see, we've got the usual stalkers behind us. Listen, don't bother about them. They don't know what gender they are, never mind what day it is. We are together. God bless you all, and thank you.
Move streets! Move streets! Our streets!
So yeah, big thanks to everyone that's come today. Once again, we're having to do it because we're sick of seeing the way this country's going. It's an absolute joke. The people of England, Britain, wherever, are all getting made second-class citizens of this city now, of this country, never mind the city. And we have idiots like that coming out and telling us that we're wrong for doing what we're doing, branding us racist, branding us Nazis. I don't care. Keep branding me a racist, keep branding me a call me what you want, homophobic, what you want. It's never going to stop me getting up and saying I am sick to death of seeing my own people suffer at the likes of these refugees, not even refugees, the illegal immigrants that they're supporting. Let them not go tell the mothers of the children that are being raped, refugees are welcome here, because I think them families would have something to say to them right now. They should be kicked down that street and sent away. The shit goes, they should be put in the gutter. We've been doing demonstrations up and down country, Lincoln, Leeds, everywhere, Newark, everywhere now. Everyone's had enough of it. We did a demonstration in Skegness, started in February. The first place we did that demonstration, where we did the speeches, a young girl got raped not long after by, surprise, surprise, a refugee in an hotel. They've raped her in the park where we did our speeches. That to me is a big to us. So yeah, we're going to keep going, we're going to keep stomping on. We've had enough. We're doing demonstration now. RDF Scampton next, we're doing a camp out down there, and we're doing that. They're putting 2,000 refugees in RDF Scampton. That's home at Dambusters. That's our heritage, and they're trying to move the dog's grave. There's a dog's grave down there, and it was Guy Gibson's dog. The dog's name on the grave already to trigger, and then they were trying to move the dog's grave, but it got met with some resistance, and luckily we won that battle. The dog's staying. So yeah, we're just going to keep going. These clowns over here, don't let them bother you, because just the wet wipes out, let's be right about it. We've got to keep marching on, lads, we've got to keep showing up. This here today, I'd have expected a lot more. We should have filled this green. People at least should have been filling this. We get a lot more people backing us on social media than what we do turning up. For one reason, they're scared to be called racist. Who's scared to be called racist here? Is anybody here scared to be called racist for standing here today? Is everybody here today had enough of these clowns stomping on us, telling us that they're their streets when they shouldn't even be stood on themselves? It's about time we started fighting back and showing them now we have had enough. So yeah, we're going to keep fighting. But these demonstrations, we've all agreed, it's not really getting us nowhere. So we're coming up with another plan, and it's to start fighting and standing in the community and representing now. We've got John Lawrence here today. He's doing the same. He's doing exactly the same. He's stood up now. He's standing for councillor in his areas. And this is what we need to do now. Start getting independence in areas like this to stand, because we know we'll get the votes in these areas. Labour, Conservative, no good. None of them are no good. They're all pissing and shitting in the same bucket basically, and they're all doing funny handshake brigade behind closed doors. We can't trust nobody in that Westminster now. None of them in Parliament. They should all be wiped out and put to bed. It's about time British people took back the country, took back the rights, took back the fucking pride, and started to say enough is enough. Thank you. Hello.
Since the arrival of illegals in the Britannia Hotel, there's been sexual assaults, street robberies, and an increase in housing burglaries. Also, young males harassing mothers with their children whilst walking under the under. Many residents are afraid to leave their own homes or to let children play outside. It's now become a no-go zone, and nothing has been done to solve these problems. Since these illegals moved in, nobody knew their backgrounds and they have committed or whatever they've done or other crimes. They've been kept in a 4-star hotel, and all residents of the owners of the hotel don't care. The main owner of the hotels is Alex Lansam, who has built up a £248 million fortune at the taxpayers' expense. He has contracts to house these illegals all over the country. The government and border forces allow murderers, rapists, paedophiles and grooming gangs into the country, and to top this off, they allow French warships to escort the dinghies full of them into our waters. Then the border force picks them up, and what does the government do? Nothing. There is a threat to our national security. We also still paying France to stop the boats, but we all know that's a main lie. Immigration is at an all-time high. The net immigration is over 600,000. So if you want to solve the problem, then don't let them in. It's simple as that. We all know we have housing problems also. So why does the government give £1.5 million to Afghans on this new scheme that provides houses with 12 months support? Mass migration transforms our society and leads to diversion and tension in our communities, and this also affects the quality of life. It also affects our public services, what now are at a breaking point. To top this off, now lawyers are cheating the system, charging £10,000 to make false asylum claims. They should be jailed immediately. As we all know, the left will say different. It does not matter what I say or anybody else say, I'll be classed as a racist. So if you want to call me a racist for wanting a better future for our children and to put our people first, so be it. Call me a racist. Time and time again, we have asked the government to close our borders. This is why we voted for Brexit. But again, you've let your own people down, and in the last 4 elections, you give us false promises and lies. We have been let down by greedy, corrupt politicians who only care about themselves and pocket themselves vast money. We need major changes, and it's time for you to do the job you're supposed to do and stop the boats. So please, get this country back the way it should be and put your own people first. Thank you.
It is so common for our people to talk about this ignorance and to compare the left, the Marxists, the communists, the liberals, to compare these people to the Soviets, when in fact what these people are is less like the Soviets and more like the Tsars of Russia, who live in a state of absolute benefit, who take whatever they want and ignore every single person beneath them, believing that all their problems are fake, that all of their beliefs are bigots, and that all their people know nothing and that they only know best. They have lived for decades with the ignorance of a Russian Tsar, oblivious to the fact that if you treat people with that level of ignorance and a pathological arrogance for decades and decades, eventually the day comes when an entire people turn around and say, "Did you really think that we were going to take it forever?" Our people will not take it forever. And these people who for years have treated us like swine in the belief that they only know best are soon to be in for an awakening. They don't know it yet, but we do. Over 6 months, these protests, these meetings have persisted. But we must also not blind ourselves to the fact that they have not brought the change we want. It did not clear the problem of illegals in hotels in Skegness. It has not destroyed the plans for RAF Scampton. And we must understand why. It's so easy to believe that our function is to be putting pressure on the Westminster politicians, and that if only we could make them aware of the problem, they would address the problem. It's easy to believe that endless protest will cause change. But the truth of it is that our enemy already knows what we think. They already know what the problems are. They simply do not care. And as the time goes on, if we are to truly get the change we desire in this country, we need to take this energy and turn it from protest into genuine political action. We must challenge the enemy in a domain that they cannot ignore. It makes no odds to them if 100 people complain. It makes no odds to them if people march through a town. The only thing they care about is when their money and their power is threatened. And that is the only target that needs to be chased after. That is the thing that needs to be taken away. The likes of the Tories, who piggyback off of the concerns of people like us, need to be highlighted for the con men that they are. The likes of Labour, who profess to be the party for the working man, but at the same time find themselves increasingly devoid of actual working people and interested only in propping up the world's parasites. Some of our people might have turned and said, well, if it's not the Tories and it's not Labour, maybe it isn't the political parties, maybe it's the unions. But then you look at the unions, and in the unions you find people who talk about the need to get better wages for our people and the need to prevent our people from losing their jobs. But at the same time, when they think people aren't looking, will campaign for the borders to be opened to a colossal degree so that British workers can be rendered into poverty and unemployment, because they too, like the Labour Party, are con men. They create a problem to sell a solution. So what is the solution? The only politics that is going to offer any hope for our people is national politics. Nationalist parties. These are the only parties and the only groups whose interests are the people of this nation and not the money of this nation, whose only interests are to build the future rather than pillage the present. These are the people that need to be looked at. Whether it's the British Democrats, whether it's the National Front, whether it's the National Housing Party, these are the only people that are prepared to actually talk about the problems that this country faces. These are the only people that do not abuse and denigrate and spit on their own countrymen. This is the only way that our people will be saved. It's not a task which is easy. In many ways, it's the hardest task that our people could ever undertake. To turn a country around and deliver it from an enemy within is not an easy task. But at the same time, it is a task which is not impossible. The reason this enemy is invincible is because too many of our people believe that that is the case. The more our people believe that they have no power, the more powerless they become. But the truth is that our people were never powerless. They were merely led into believing that they were. We know that the support is there. We know that the desire for change is there. We know that the power for change does exist within our own people. It doesn't need the likes of communists or socialists or liberals or Marxists. It doesn't need the likes of society's garbage to tell us right from wrong. I do not need them to tell me what is right and wrong, because like all our people, we can decide that for ourselves. Our future is in our hands, not theirs. And that is the way it has always been. And that is the way it will always be. Soon to come will be a day when the spirit of this country will rise from the grave. A grave that has been dug by the left. And a grave which has been allowed our people to fall in by the right. The Tories who stand there and let it happen. Our people will rise from the grave. And when that happens, those who have spent 50, 60, 70, 100 years planning for our annihilation will themselves find that if anything is being annihilated, it will be them. They do not realise what they have done, because over the years that they have made it impossible for our people to be heard, instead they have only convinced us that coexistence with this enemy is as impossible as it is to coexist with a cancer of the brain. These people are a cancer. They are a disease that is destroying this country from the inside out. And it's a disease that takes the form of the hard left. It takes the form of their fronts. It's a disease that needs to be eradicated once and for all. And it needs to be made so that it can never ever return to this country. Do not believe that this is the end of our nation. On the contrary, this is only the beginning. So where do we go forward from here? If we think about what needs to happen over coming days, weeks and months, it's never going to be enough to just have a protest, an event where we talk about the problem. That is never going to be enough. The council, the MP do not care. They have made it plain through their actions that they don't care. So what we need to do is to start organising ourselves politically. We need to start organising to run our own candidates at general elections, at local elections, and we need to do it for a nationalist agenda. It is the only way that will work. This doesn't mean that you can run people and be guaranteed to win. But what you don't realise, and what these people over there don't realise, we do not have to win, not to begin with. All we have to do is to prove that it is possible to resist. Because once our people start to realise that to resist the likes of the left is possible, then they will turn out in their hundreds, then they will turn out in their thousands. Once they can see that it is possible to resist, that is when they have an objective to work towards. So what we must do now, going forward, is now we know that there are people here in Seacroft, in Leeds, being ignored, being abused. We have to do this on a regular basis. We have to meet here on a regular basis. We have to do it because the alternative is destruction. One of the most powerful things that you can realise in this struggle is that we have nothing to lose, because the objective of our enemy is our annihilation. And if we do nothing, it will be the end of our people. Once you realise that death is inevitable and that standing idly by means your destruction, you realise that by resisting this enemy, there is nothing to lose. It's a hard task, but it can be done. People have done harder things over the decades and the centuries, and they've done them with far less. And if our forefathers can do it, so can we. They're not better than us. Instead, we have just inherited their legacy. And it's a legacy that we cannot squander. So going forward from here, if we think about what's happened in the lead up to this event, we had previous events here in the year. Myself and a large number of our colleagues have been meeting here on Wednesdays to plan what's going on, to talk about what the problems in our area are. And we have to keep doing it. So if you live in Leeds, if you live here, if you are sick of being taken for a fool and robbed blind by the likes of that filth there, even if the council and the MP do not care and do not want to listen, we will. So join us when we have these meetings. Get in touch with us. There's people like David, who runs a group, Yorkshire Patriots. There's people here representing nationalist political parties. These are the people that we need to turn to going forward. Do not believe that you are just one person. Everything is designed to make you believe that you are isolated. The local councillor has his constituency surgery up by that centre on Saturday mornings. One by one he'll let people walk in and tell him what their problems are. But would he ever speak to people as a group of hundreds? No, because if he did, then the illusion of isolation that he propagates on his people would never be held. He would never stand here and talk to hundreds of his own constituents, because he could not isolate them, he could not lie to them, he could not convince them that they are the only person who cares and it's just them that has an issue. That's why they will never speak to you in meetings, in groups, and events like this and places like this. They will not do it, but we will. And this is the only way that our people will be saved. Now, soon, I know a lot of people came here expecting a march. So that is what we're going to do. Now, a march up to that roundabout by Tesco and back, that alone is not going to clear out that hotel. It's not. That will not do it. But what we have to do, it's the only thing that matters. We have to prove that it is possible to resist these people. It is possible to make ourselves heard. We don't have to do it by screaming and shouting, because our enemies are watching and they know what we think. And the fact that what we think is how to get rid of them terrifies them. They know, when they've seen this today, that we are not isolated, and that in fact so many of our people think the same thing that we do, but they have just been suppressed by decades of fear and propaganda. Our enemies know that we are stronger than we look, and their greatest fear is that the day should come when our people will start to realize that strength. That is the mentality they behave with, and that is the mentality that must be torn down.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanna talk about Emily, young Emily Jones, 7-year-old. Altonia Scania, the person who killed her, lied about how she got here. She had leave to stay till 2024 and had already threatened to stab someone, and they did nothing. And young Emily died. 7-year-old, guys, 7-year-old. At the end of my speech, let's have a minute of silence for her and we'll talk. So, in Leeds, I'll give you some figures on how much it's costing for the hotel bills. Well, that's gone up now. So in a month, it's gone up. It's now 10 million a day. That's just for hotel bills, guys, which equates to 3.5 billion a year. So at the rate they're coming in now, if it stays like that, we're going to be paying 4 billion a year until it stops. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The left will never mention that. And I agree totally with Alex. We've got to look at a different kind of route, and my route is a political route, and I'm starting at the ground upwards. I am the biggest thorn in Oldham's Council's side since the early 2000s. They can't silence me. I'm a leader of a registered political party. There's nothing they can do. You know what I mean? There's nothing. Today I came here at 10 o'clock and started posting leaflets. I posted leaflets today, and 3 members of the public who I posted leaflets to came here, and I think they're still here now. You know what I mean? So the leaflets are touching things, and they are saying the right things, but it's a political route. We've got a general election coming up next year. What we need to do is get to the hustings in the general election and ask the difficult questions to the members of Parliament. Ask them why they don't talk. No council has talked to the members of the public before they filled up these hotels. Not one council. They don't ask for nothing. They don't ask you. They don't ask the members of the public. They don't go round to the schools. They don't talk to the parents. Nothing. And they just fill them up. Just doing that should tell you how much they're against us. You know what I mean? It should tell you how much. So even when you're harassed on your own street and you say something, you're branded with one of them buzzwords. I'm not going to say it. A buzzword is you know what they are. And if you speak up about any issue, you're branded with these words, and it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Knowsley was a really focal point to me in Great Britain, was that hundreds, thousands of texts went out to parents from the schools telling them about grown men harassing little girls on streets. So when everyone protested, Joanne Anderson, the Mayor of Liverpool, came there with other people calling everyone these buzzwords. That's what she said. Honestly, and you know, I don't blame Liverpudlians and people from Knowsley for kicking off about it. I don't. And we also had people like Michelle Smith, who works for United the Union, who were over there today, who's a convicted rock-throwing rioter trying to attack people at Knowsley. And no one said nothing. No one said now. And it's just wrong. But the political route is the route I'm going down. I'm making a big dent in Oldham politics and hopefully national politics. And we'll support anybody in the Leeds area or Manchester area, whether you want to go under our party name or as an independent, we'll support you. And I said to Dave that Big Dave should be running in Beeston. That's what he should be. Honestly, and a couple of people have said to him, and he should seriously think about it. He tells me he's lived there for 22 years. He'll get votes. He will get votes. And even if he doesn't get a council seat, the council will be shaking in the boots when he runs. Absolutely shaking in the boots. This is what I said to everyone, honestly, stand up and be counted. You don't have to be clever to be a councillor, you don't have to be clever. You just got to play the game a little bit, which I am doing, but also I'm playing my game as well by calling them out. But thank you very much everyone for coming. Big up Alex and Dave for all these demos. I'll try to get to as many as I can, but really I've got to be knocking on doors in Oldham. But I came up here today, I've still got a few hundred leaflets left. I'll have access to them 2 big blocks of flats later, and I'm going delivering leaflets to them flats. But thank you very much guys, thank you. One thing, a minute's silence for Emily Jones. Me, Mank, Dave and Rita, who were here today, we followed the Emily Jones case all the way through. We went to the court cases, and we even did put flowers down in the park in Bolton for her. So we know the case best, but let's have a minute's silence for Emily. Cheers. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Fight in France, we shall fight on the seas and oceans, we shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air, we shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. Fight on the beaches.
Just watching behind him. I think he's been well good for them.
Sam! Stand fire slightly, get this one in.
Just get it in front, boys. Just get it in front.
Stay real forever. We can tell the world stop staying out for that's clear. Listen, peaceful minds. Singing. This brother says.